Hello, everyone. My name is Samantha Frazier, and I'm going to talk to you today about voting rights. So, the late congressional representative and civil rights activist John Lewis once said, "The vote is precious. It is the most powerful nonviolent tool we have in a democratic society, and we must use it." But did you know? Not everyone has always had access to this tool, and there are still some people today who cannot vote. Let's break it down. When this country was founded in 1776, only white male landowners over the age of 21 could vote. Now, as time went on, the individual states would pass laws extending this right to people who did not own land, but by and large, it still only applied to white men over the age of 21. This all changed in 1870 with the passage of the 15th Amendment, when African American men were granted the right to vote. The 15th Amendment outlawed discrimination based on race in voting. However, many states, especially in the South, still passed laws that made it more difficult for African Americans to vote. Fast forward 50 years to 1920, and this right was extended to women with the 19th Amendment. Several states had already passed laws giving women the right to vote, but the 19th Amendment extended it to women nationwide. Then 32 years later, in 1952, Congress passed the McCarran-Walter Act, which granted the right to become citizens and to vote to Asian Americans. Now, the next big landmark in voting rights was the Voting Rights Act of 1965. As we had previously discussed, the 15th Amendment granted African American men the right to vote, but many places still didn't allow them to vote. They made it more difficult with measures such as literacy tests. Now, this act outlawed those kinds of measures and made it easier for people of all races to vote. And although this act is typically associated with African Americans, it also helped the Native American, Asian American, and Latinx American communities as well. So to be an eligible voter today, you must be a U.S. citizen, which means that you were born in the United States or you immigrated here and became a naturalized citizen. You must be 18 years of age or older by election day, and you must be registered to vote. Each state requires eligible voters to fill out a form before they can receive their ballot. And there are still some people today who are not able to vote, such as permanent legal residents, who are people who live in the U.S. full-time but have not gone through the naturalization process to become citizens. And in many states, felons are also ineligible to vote, even if they have already served their time in prison. And U.S. citizens living in U.S. territories such as Guam, Puerto Rico, or the U.S. Virgin Islands are still unable to vote. Remember, voting is your way of creating change in the country. When you can, be sure to vote and make sure your voice is heard.